What is up, guys? Wraec is here with a new video, and today we want to take a look at Phantom Defier Elena. You can actually see my copy here. I built her and I have Destiny Transition on her. Main reason for that being actually that she's a tenant for LFA and she's a tenant for slot 4. Other choice for that specific slot would have been Asmodel, which we also have an S tier copy of, which is kind of nice, but then again, damage dealer, which Asmodel is, and being a tenant at the same time, that just don't combine well. So you get more use out of having a support hero that doesn't really need to do a whole lot of damage, and using that as a tenant. So that is what we did. Cost us some stats. It's not too much actually, it's okay. But now we have a Destiny Transition Phantom Defier Elena, and you will see how great that is in just a second. Let me show you my role, because last time somebody asked about that. I run Heal Effect Holy Armor Giant Killer. Personally, you don't really think you don't really need the Giant Killer. Could go for something like the R or CI offset, but Holy Armor certainly is nice. Heal Effect is pretty decent, and Holy Armor is really the main thing I would run her on. Or if you have an A copy or something like that. But you're perfectly fine running her with a B copy as well. So, her main thing, obviously, CC protection, and then some buffs, dodge, and some heal. Obviously, with a bit of CC for the from her active skill, where we find Fear Abyssal Gaze, actually the same CC that LFA uses. And her main skill effect is Mystical Whale, which you will also find in her Destiny Transition skill. So let's read that now. Grants the target Shadow Lurk, with each layer increasing the chance of Shadow Lurk by 15% up to 3 layers. Deducts 1 layer after dodge is triggered, and that of course also indicates that Shadow Lurk dodges active skills or basic attacks. So every layer of Mystical Way gives you a 15% chance to dodge an enemy's attack, which is rather nice. We can definitely make some use of that. And you get that from her active skill, but you also get that from her Destiny Transition. So let's take a look at what I personally run there at the moment. Her main skill is when self takes damage from active skills or basic attacks, consumes 3 layers of transition power, to grant 1 layer of Mystical Whale on 1 ally with the lowest HP, and restores self and the target's HP equal to 1200% of self attack for 2 rounds. Cannot release the skill without enough layers of transition power. So in my experience, this is again not well translated. I saw her definitely regenerating some life even when she got hit and didn't receive damage, so just getting hit is fine. The effect itself seems pretty weak on first view. It is definitely not the strongest effect. It's not a damage dealing effect. It is a decent heal that we have there for 2 heroes, for herself and the ally with the lowest HP, which is decent. We got some targeting in there, which is good. And the layer of Mystical Whale, of course, 15% dodge. We just read it. So definitely nice. Personally, then, I run her with active skills. So we gain 6 layers of transition power, which means we can trigger that twice. Pretty good. And then we have the Backline Allies Holy Damage buff, which we find here. Great ability. 10% holy damage is a good and very decent damage buff, and if you think about it, she does an active skill, she gets hit twice, so she triggers that twice, 20% holy damage right there for you, pretty nice. The other options in the slot would be another HP restoration. Additionally, restores HP of 1 ally with the lowest HP by 8% of their max HP. If you want to heal that lowest HP ally even more, that is an option. And then we have the armor increase for all allies, which we hardly notice, so I personally go for the damage. On the next one, I run additionally increases all damage dealt by 1 ally with the highest attack by 15% for 2 rounds. Something that made me consider her for Flame Shrine actually. Would be rather interesting. I wasn't quite sure who to replace that for, because we have some mighty buffs out there already. Olivia, Heartwatcher, all very nice. So for the moment she isn't in there. Maybe later on when she has her Destiny rank 6 in a few months, that could be interesting. Other options, increases backline allies all damage reduction by 8% for 2 rounds. In my opinion, also pretty viable if you want to go for a more defensive way or struggle for survival against some stronger teams in PvP, for example. TBB teams, something like that could be an issue. Then this is also pretty nice. 8% is also a decent amount. And then we have additionally increase all allies' effect of being healed by 50% for 2 rounds, which I don't really see unless, of course, maybe there is a void boss in the future that reduces effect of being healed. Then this could be a nice way to counter it, because she does an active skill. You gain that twice, 100% increased effect of being healed. Pretty good. For the next one, I run if self has 6 or more layers of transition power. Interesting, by the way. Additionally, reduces all damage dealt by 2 enemies with the highest attack by 15% for 2 rounds. So now we have a condition in her Comet Hop Spiritual Pivot, which we haven't really seen before at other heroes, I think. So this only triggers when she has 6 or more layers of transition power. So if you do an active skill, you will exactly reach 6 layers of transition power. So you will trigger it 1 time on the next hit, because we consume 3 with every activation of this ability. This won't trigger, but on the first one it will. And I run this because you just get the good opportunity to reduce all damage dealt by the 2 most dangerous enemies, the 2 enemies with the highest attack. Keep in mind though, in the endgame, players play around the HHA core, and that also targets the 2 enemies with the highest attack. So I, for example, I run my LFA and I run my Mystic Fairy Freya, usually with highest attack, though now that I have S tier TBB, I found myself using her with highest attack, but I have taunt immunity on her, so that works, but obviously wouldn't protect me from that. Other options here, we have itself has 6 or more layers of transition power, additionally reduces backline enemies attack by 20% for 2 rounds. Also kind of interesting and also pretty cool if you combine that with DGN. You could spread some major attack reduction over the enemy team, so maybe combine that with her, could be pretty cool. And for the last one, we have if self has 6 or more layers of transition power, additionally reduces the speed of one enemy with the highest speed by 60 for 2 rounds. If you want to outspeed the enemy, maybe could be interesting. What do you want to outspeed? I could see a TBB, for example, but then again, if you fight a TBB that is a CC team, if you are able to hit it, and if your PDE was able to launch an active skill, then you probably win either way, because then you were able to attack the enemy team, and CC teams mostly are kind of squishy. So, but it is an option. You will trigger that at least once. 60 is a good amount of speed, though with like current soul power where you get 400 speed or something, it feels a little bit low. So if your copy of TBB in a TBB versus TBB battle, for example, is way weaker than that of the enemy, that won't really play a role. So choose accordingly to that. I personally will stay with my all damage dealt unless I run DG, and then I'll probably switch to that. So those are the ones that I run. Now let's look at the ones I'm looking forward to get. By the way, 9 divine power, not Destiny rank 6. Some people are confused by that. It's a Destiny rank 4 hero, but it also gets 5 divine power from the temple. So 4 divine power for being Destiny rank 4, and then 5 divine power from the transition temple. So now we have to go to the gallery where you can also find all of those abilities. Where's my TBB? My PDE, there she is. And now we can take a look at the Destiny rank 5 ability, which is this one, also one with that 6-layer requirement. And there we find some really juicy ones. If self has 6 or more layers of transition power, and additionally increases backline allies all damage dealt by 20%. So not only did we see the first all damage dealt ability, which was the holy damage one here, with the backline holy damage, and then we have another all damage dealt one here for the highest attack, 15%. We have another all damage dealt buff ability here, which makes her an excellent support if you want to increase the damage of your team, specifically the backline. Wouldn't really want to run a frontline hero with that, which kind of is anti-synergy with DTV, who buffs the frontline, which is a bit weird. But then again, backline buffs 20% all damage dealt. If you have 6 or more layers of transition power, can be rather nice. Other option, self HP restoration up to 40% of lost HP. I don't know. I mean, she heals herself anyway with her skill. I don't know if you want to use more heal. And then we have a speed increase. I mean, could be interesting. It's 100 speed. You can trigger it quite a bit. So it could end up giving you some speed. But if you are in a damage situation, Flame Shrine, something like that, you go for this. Obviously, all damage dealt. Last one, and this one I think is translated wrongly. When releasing active skills, it's like, that's a way that they made the sentence that I haven't read in this game anywhere. So I think that is not what it means. I'm pretty sure we'll see a change of that in the future. I will ask the community manager about it. If that is really translated in the proper way. I just read that before making this video, actually, that it is that faulty. I honestly only read the ability before they introduced the new translations, but those are far from perfect, actually. So we take that with a grain of salt when releasing active skills. Could mean her active skill or ally active skills. If it's ally active skills, oh, that's kind of nice, because if that is ally active skills, that's the same as Star Alchemist Holmes Young, so we can see some major buffs there. If Self has 3 or more layers of transition power, that part I trust, because that's something we saw quite often. Self has 3 more or more layers of transition power, so the layers of transition power no longer get consumed, which is pretty good, because that means we can trigger all of our 6-layer abilities from Destiny rank 4 and 5 a bit more often. Grant Self and one ally with the lowest HP 1 layer of Mystic Whale, and restore Self and the target's HP equal to 1200% of Self attack for 2 rounds, which is basically the same ability we already had. Now with the removal of this condition, that she removes 3 layers of transition power to trigger it, now she only needs to have those. The condition when she triggers it, though, we have to see about that. I will definitely make a pinned comment down below once I get an answer from them, so make sure you check that out. Maybe subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. Also an option. Other than that, let's check out the last part, because that is also pretty spicy. If Self has 18 or more layers of transition power, 18 layers. Bloody hell, that's a lot. Consumes 18 layers of them to grant Darkness Cloak on all allies for 3 rounds. Those with Darkness Cloak have a 100% chance to dodge the active skill or basic attack firstly received each round. So, first of all, let's keep one thing in mind. This one triggers when the condition on top here is met, and when she has 18 or more layers. So we need to combine those two. And we don't really know what this is. So it might just be when an ally releases an active skill. It might be when she's hit. It might be something entirely different. And when she then has 18 or more layers, she will grant you this effect. And this effect will grant all allies 100% chance to dodge the first active or basic they receive each round. So the first round that you have in this 3-round effect is obviously the round she casts this, which might mean if she's slow and not a homeowner, that already most of the enemies or all of the enemies have attacked, and probably the main damage dealers will have already attacked, which means the first round is probably not that super useful for her unless you make her very fast with something like soul power or even as a homeowner. And then you have 2 more rounds in which all of your heroes will dodge the first attack. And I'm pretty eager to see how that works out against a hero like TBB. Because TBB, with her first active skill, the real active skill, she CCs the whole enemy team. And if you can dodge that, then she can't regain energy, because she regains energy when she twines an enemy hero. And if she can't do that, and she can't twine anybody, because all of your heroes dodged that, well, then she won't do her passive skill energy or her passive skill attack right after. So that could be pretty cool. On the other hand, oftentimes when TBB has more than 100 energy, her passive skill triggers right at the beginning of the round, because that's the first time it can trigger again. Which means you are first hit by a passive skill rather than an active skill, so you get to see it either way, and then another hero hits her, which might end up being not that great after all. So we have to see about that, but it's certainly a strong ability. Just every single one of your heroes being able to dodge the first attack, that's pretty mad, and one of the best abilities I've seen here from a supporter side of perspective. So overall, what do I say about this? Well, we have to see what this really means when releasing active skills. If it's allies releasing active skills, then we certainly have one of the strongest damage buff heroes, maybe close or on one level with Star Alchemist Holmes Young here. Definitely a super interesting hero, definitely one of the heroes you will want at a high Destiny rank or even a Destiny rank 6 in the future if you want to buff your team. Other than that, obviously, when I say you want her at a Destiny rank 6, focus on your main hero first. Bring your SSM, your LFA, or whatever your main damage dealer to a high level first. make sure he's strong and don't focus on a support before that. And then you can slowly progress your support at the same time, which is what I currently do. If you look at my strategy, you see we have LFA at 10 divine power, then we have 9 divine power, 2 supports, and then we have my TBB at 8 currently and DGN at 8 as well. So that is what I currently do, and keep that in mind. But PDE, definitely a cool hero. I'm very eager to see her last skill. 18 transition power might be a bit much, honestly, in a PvP match. If you use active skill, getting 3 active skills in a PvP match, that really only works with energy feed, or if you have a very good sustain team and can survive till like turn 6 or even beyond that. And even then, there are certain questions like, can she dodge weakness disclosure LFA? And I would doubt that. So I would doubt that she does that, but if she could do that, that would obviously be insane. Definitely a force to be reckoned with, and one of the better heroes we've checked out here, with a very consistent set with like no bad abilities. Like there's hardly a slot where we have ability where I say, okay, it's like whatever, what you choose, it's all pretty bad. No, it's like, look at this. Backline allies all damage dealt. Holy damage. Increase all damage dealt of your highest attack 15%. And then we have reduce all damage dealt on 2 enemies attack, which is probably one of her worst abilities and still super strong. So a very good support hero, can definitely say that, and well, that's probably all we can say about her right now. Sadly, when we go into testing, a lot of this will be invisible. We can obviously see the holy damage buff, but all damage dealt, all damage reduction, which is most what she do, will be invisible, and I'm not sure they introduced a visible effect for Darkness Cloak, so yeah, that will be something to see. We are getting closer to Destiny rank 6. I said that already in yesterday's video, but we are on temple level 8. On temple level 10, we will see the first one. So that will be rather interesting. Stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We're still on our way to 10,000 subscribers. I'm pretty eager to see that. And with that, I wish you a great day. We'll see us in the next one.